On today's Two on Your Side Town Hall, it is an exciting day for Bills fans, getting ready to officially start all the planning for trips to away games and what we can expect in Orchard Park this fall. We're going to be talking about tonight's schedule release.
Plus, you are probably used to getting robocalls on your phone, but have you ever wondered who is actually behind them? We are taking a closer look tonight at how these companies operate.
And believe it or not, we're nearing the halfway point of May, which means Memorial Day weekend is just around the corner, and we're going to take a closer look through this year's holiday travel forecast from AAA.
And we welcome you to our Wednesday Town Hall here on Channel 2. We're going to take a bit of a break from talking about the pandemic today because there's plenty of other big stuff to discuss. Yeah, and of course, there is a lot of concern for Western New York's one of our favorite things, at least, the Buffalo Bills. It is schedule release day for the NFL. It officially comes out at 8 o'clock tonight, but already plenty of speculation. And there's a lot we already know, like which opponents the Bills are going to be playing this season and whether they'll be home or away. But we still don't know which week and, of course, the specific days and times for all the different games. One thing we do know for sure is that the Bills will host the Steelers in Week 1. That game's going to be Sunday, September 12th at Highmark Stadium. Joining us live to talk about it is Vic Carucci of the Buffalo News and Sports Talk Live, which you can see every Monday night here on Channel 2. Vic, it's been too long. We're glad to have you back.
Great to be back with you.
Yeah, thank you, Vic. I got to tell you, we've got to get used to saying Highmark Stadium for one thing. That snuck up on us there. I saw the Week 1 schedule come out, and I was like, oh, we've got a 1 o'clock Sunday game. What's going on? But I don't think we're going to have as many of those as we've had in years past. So let's talk about the Steelers coming to town for that Week 1 matchup, what we can expect there. Let's start there, Vic.
Yeah, what we can expect is pretty much that kind of classic sense of rivalry of two AFC powerhouses. I think it's really good that Ben Roethlisberger is back to play this year. That was in doubt after last season. So assuming he's healthy and everything's right come September 12th when that game is played, you've got a nice team to open with in an attraction, and keeping in mind that you're going to have a whole lot of Pittsburgh fans, again, on the assumption that more people or full stadium or whatever it is by then, a lot of those Steeler fans are going to want to make that fairly short drive to Western New York for that game.
And Michael kind of alluded to this before, but after reaching that first AFC championship game since the 90s, a lot of people certainly expecting to see a few more primetime games for the Bills this season. There's already chatter about another Thanksgiving game. How many primetime games, or at least non-1 o'clock games, do you think might be announced tonight?
Yeah, and you're right, Kate. It's all about the chatter. Schedule releases leaks and leaks and more leaks. And I think the NFL at some point should probably just make it, my apologies, the NFL should probably just make it someone want to call about the schedule. So make it a whole day thing rather than this piecemeal, a little in the morning and then a little, the whole thing at night. But that said, my expectation, based on everything I've kind of heard, is I think we're looking at about four primetime games. And I think you're right about that. Sounds like that New Orleans game, Thanksgiving night, NBC, I believe. And then a Sunday night game, another NBC game, so 2 on your channel at least. And then a couple of more Monday night games factored in there if those rumors are right. And with a 17-game schedule, and the flexing that the league can do, don't be shocked if we see a 5th primetime game show up toward the end of the year.
And just think, Vic, how long we went with really no good primetime games. Certainly no Sunday night games, few Monday night games. They'd throw in a Thursday night just to, satisfy what the rules were. So I think everybody's really looking forward to learning all the specifics of that schedule. Let's talk about what's going to happen once we get closer to the fall. And of course, people wondering about fans in the stadium, whether we're going to be at full capacity or not. What kind of impact does the return of fans have for a home schedule, especially those colder weather games? And do you think that this team may have benefited a bit last year from better communication on the field since they didn't have the crowd noise as much to deal with?
Yeah, there's no question it'll be a different dynamic. And again, as we move, I'm just going to proceed with this optimistic view that with more vaccinations and hearing the governor and the county executive talk about maybe being on the same page with the idea that if you're vaccinated, you're there, you're in, and it's no problem. And my sense is so many people last year just served, besides being the great year that it was, the successful year that it was, also served as the big tease. It was, it was this great team you couldn't watch, and this pent-up excitement and enthusiasm for this team, I think, is going to lead to full stadium, or at least if it's allowable, but certainly enough people who will want to jam it. And then beyond that, whatever else comes with people gathering as close as they can to it. I'm not sure that the whole tailgate experience will be what it's been at its classic points, and maybe that's a good thing, I don't know. But I think it's also a case where we're going to see something that is just going to be revved up beyond belief for these home games.
Yeah, and finally, Vic, I want to talk about road games. This year, the Bills will be away for non-divisional games, including Kansas City, New Orleans, Tennessee, and the Super Bowl champs in Tampa Bay, which of course means the familiar mug of Tom Brady. The Bills went 13-3 last year. Not bad, obviously, but do you think they can do it again?
I do, Kate. So for the Buffalo News, we did this whole thing with 4 of us on the staff, hitting different topics. And the question was 10.5. I think it was, over or under. I went over. I see no reason why this team can't win at least as many as they won last year. And there will be many people who will tell you, looking at that Arizona game and the fluky sort of ending there, that it should have been more than the 13 that they won in the regular season. And I see them, fully being aboard as a contender. I think Mike Tirico had it right. I heard him on the Today Show today talk about, look out for the Buffalo Bills. Well, hey, a lot of people have been looking out for that nationally, and TV loves that. That's why these primetime games, they love the exciting offense. They love that Josh Allen is the star that he's become, and that's what attracts eyeballs.
Yeah, you want to make sure you follow Vic on Twitter and check out the Buffalo News tonight for his analysis once we get the schedule. Again, it's supposed to come out at 8 o'clock. Things are dripping out, so of course we'll stay on top of it with full coverage here on Channel 2 all night long as well. Vic Carucci, thanks very much.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Vic. Well, you've probably been hearing more about that gas shortage in parts of the country, as well as the recent rise in prices. It is something that we talked about with an expert from the UB School of Management during last night's town hall, which we should note, by the way, you can still watch that segment on YouTube. Yeah,
it's interesting to look at what's behind all of this. That gas shortage is tied to the Colonial Pipeline, the gas line that supplies almost half of the East Coast's fuel. It was hit by a cyber attack this past weekend. Well, today the EPA spoke at the White House about some regulations being temporarily suspended to try to help get more fuel to areas that need it while they try to fix this issue.
EPA waived certain gasoline requirements, specifically the requirement for low volatility conventional gasoline as well as reformulated gasoline. While the waiver alone will not resolve the supply situation, it will help alleviate supply shortages. The waiver allows the use of any residential winter gasoline that may exist in the region. It will also allow butane to be blended into existing fuel stops, increasing the supply of gasoline by up to 5%.
And the operators of the Colonial Pipeline say that they're working around the clock to fully restore service by the end of the week. So some good news there as far as getting it remedied sooner than later. It's
interesting. I saw a report last night that it only moves at like 5 miles an hour, though. So how long is it going to take to fully get everything back up and running? There are calls, and in some places they're suspending the gas tax because they're seeing prices increase. Yeah. Still a lot to follow with this one, no doubt.
More to come.